Hi, this is Mark at Skywagon University. We're doing another owner interview with Nigel Ellis, who's also English, so we'll speak slowly. Nigel's just had a little bit of a throat operation, so his voice is a bit hoarse. So let's talk about the plane. So what is it?
Yeah, so Mark, it's a 2006 Zlin Savage Cub, classic
Zlin.
Super Cub. Yeah.
Okay.
So Zlin used to make aerobatic airplanes out of Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
You probably remember, back in the 60s, 70s, right, when they made good aerobatic airplanes. So this is in that same lineage of airplanes.
Okay.
But,
and it's got a Rotax in it, a 912?
Yeah, this has got a 100 horsepower 912 ULS engine in it.
Oh, okay, good. Those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it turns at like 5,000 RPM.
Yeah, it's got the gearbox, I think, is a 2.43 or something like that ratio gearbox. So the engine's turning about, in cruise, about 5,200 RPM or something like that. And,
Prop
reduces
ends
down
up at,
to
like 25 something?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm always alarmed when a Rotax shuts down because it just goes bang. It's like every shutdown's a prop strike, but they seem to last 2,000 hours and beyond.
Yeah. They'll go to 2,000 hours pretty easy. This one's got 280 hours, but so I've got a ways to go on it.
And you burn car fuel?
Sorry?
Car gas?
Yeah,
Petrol?
A little bit of
petrol.
Yeah. 4-star petrol, actually 5-star. So it burns the high octane car gas. But sometimes I'll put, 100 low lead in it as well. Just
because you're at an airport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, just to give that octane boost, sometimes the car gas, it's got a lower shelf life. So after 30 days, it reduces octane. So sometimes, if it's been in there a while, I'll add some.
Get it back to 100 with some lead.
Yeah.
So let's have a look around it.
Yeah.
You got some Alaska bush wheels on it.
Yep. So that it's got extended gear. I got new extended gear from the factory. So this has got a 6-inch extension. Then it's got 29 Alaskan bush wheels on it.
How much speed sacrifices that?
It didn't. I think I lost maybe 5 miles an hour. It really wasn't noticeable. It's a slow airplane anyway. So
yeah. What is the cruise speed?
Right now I'm cruising about 100 miles an hour with the current propeller I have on it. And it's got Acme shocks on it. I actually bought these.
They're really called Acme.
Sorry?
Are they really?
Yeah, they're really cool Acme. So there's 2 manufacturers. There's TKS, which is up in Lincoln, in California, and then there's Acme. So those are pretty much the standard guys.
I always think of Acme as being shipped somewhere in a desert.
So, yeah, exactly.
And this giant door, I mean, that's bigger than a Cub. It's huge.
Yeah,
look at it.
Yep, and I often fly with the door open, so it's really fun, low down, slow, with the door open.
And and it's got flaps like a Super Cub would have. The J3s never did, but the Super Cub
exactly.
did.
Yeah, so you fly from the front seat like a Super Cub. So yeah, it's pretty much a Super Cub variant, I would say.
Has it got heel brakes or toe brakes?
Toe brakes. Yeah, so it's got front and rear.
I probably shouldn't admit that it's on camera, but I'm not very good at heel brakes.
Yeah, I think I've flown with heel brakes once in a J3 Cub, but
no, that's actually really good. Yeah. The right side is all window, that doesn't open. Yeah,
there's another, you can buy a model, a friend of mine actually had one that does have it's a seaplane model, so that both doors will open.
Oh, so you can get out in a hurry to fend off a dog.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's kind of, some people compare it to the Rand's S7.
So, likenesses to a Cub, hence the name Savage Super Cub, Zlin Savage Cub. So it's got metal ailerons, metal flaps. Super Cubs have flaps.
Yeah, Super Cub. Yeah.
But is it like a Cub wing?
Yeah, so it's from the J3 heritage and then the PA18 Super Cub heritage. It's a tube airframe, fabric covered wings, metal ribs. So there's no wood in the airplane, but yeah, it's got metal ailerons and metal.
Anyway, I think it was an airport. And not metal back here, so you've got fabric,
exactly,
elevator, fabric rudder.
Yeah.
What does it weigh? Empty weight, gross weight, useful load?
The empty weight is about 760 pounds, so it's very lightweight. When I first got the airplane, it was a special light sport airplane, SLSA airplane. I then since converted it to an experimental light sport aircraft, or ELSA.
Oh, okay.
So I've done a few upgrades to it.
You can maintain it, work on it.
Yeah. So now it's experimental. I can, as the owner, I can do all the maintenance. And a few months ago, I got certified. I did a 2-day course, so that I can actually do the annual inspection, the annual conditions. Yeah. So I can.
Do you trust yourself?
Yeah, I did the last one in November. So do you trust me flying?
I'm going to go in it. So maybe if we live through it, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's different from a J3 Cub. It has wing tanks, so it has 18 gallons of fuel in the wings, in metal tanks.
18 total?
18 total. So it's a bit light on fuel.
So it burns, about 5 an hour?
Yeah.
So you've got about 3 hours?
Yeah, 3 hours you want to be on the ground. So
yeah. Okay.
But it's a little bit light in that respect on fuel.
And then this torpedo launcher.
Yeah. So yeah, that's for my GoPro camera. It extends out, and it'll extend out about this far in front of the spinner.
So some of the footage we're going to film now will be of the plane as if it's filmed from another plane very close in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
so
good.
like being in formation.
All right. So the engine's a Rotax 912 ULS, 100 horsepower.
That's correct. Yeah.
So it's handily pre-loosened. Let's pop the top cowl off. Oh, that's really heavy. What's it weigh? Like 1.5 pounds?
I know.
And there it is.
So this is the engine. It's twin carbureted, so it's kind of like a motorbike. It's very kind of motorbike-like. It has dual carbs. It has a dry sump, so the oil is in this can here.
Oh, you have to burp it, don't you?
Yep, you have to burp it. We can burp it if you want.
So explain the burping to non-Rotax people.
So because it's a dry sump, if you want to know the actual oil level, oil will collect in the engine. So
it's in there.
Yeah. So if you want to actually find out the true oil level, you have to pump oil back into here. So that's what's called burping, and then you know the actual.
So you turn the propeller maybe 10 times until it burps.
Yeah.
And when you hear it burp, the oil's back in the tank.
That's right.
Because if you dipped it now, it would show no oil.
Yeah, or it might be a quart low, and then you overfill it.
Yeah.
So you have to burp it to get the oil back in there.
And then the gearbox.
This is the gearbox.
So the engine's turning at 5,200 RPM, and it's driving down to about 2,500. So the propeller's not doing 5,000 RPM.
Yeah.
It's doing 2,500 RPM.
Yeah, there's a couple of big gears in here. It also has a clutch mechanism, so if you do have a pop strike,
whoops, there it is.
There you go. So if you do have a pop strike, there's a clutch in here, a sprag clutch. So hopefully you'll protect the crankshaft.
So the sudden stoppage affects only the gearbox.
Hopefully.
Or the propeller comes apart. Yeah. It's only a fiber level prop.
Yeah.
Which prop is this?
Yeah. If you have a pop strike, you still have to dial in the crank.
Okay.
Just to make sure. But this here is a French propeller called DUC, or DUC. It's a carbon fibre propeller, ground adjustable. It's a really, really nice propeller. It's given me, I just put this on a few months ago, and it's given me about another 7 or 8 miles an hour in cruise speed. So.
How about takeoff performance?
It's about the same. So I haven't really lost anything in performance.
So these engines have a 2,000-hour TBO, just getting back to the engine. Is the gearbox got the same TBO as the engine?
Yeah, that's correct. So I think it's every 500 or 600 hours, you're meant to tear the gearbox down and have an inspection. So that has it has a higher inspection time than the rest of the engine.
Nice.
And it doesn't have magnetos. It's got a stallo on the back of the engine. The alternator is part of that system as well. So in here, if we can get shots later on, there's stallos that come off there, and they go onto these 2 ignition boxes. There's 2 ignition boxes, and these boxes create the sparks, or create.
So there's no mags, no mixture.
Yeah,
it starts like a car. It shuts down like a car.
Yeah, the carburellers are altitude adjusting. There's actually 3 carburellers built into these carburellers. So there's a low idle, high idle, and there's also the a choke in there as well.
Yeah, very efficient, modern, made in Austria, right?
Yeah, made in Austria. It's modern technology.
4 or 5 gallons an hour is pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started flying on road taxis, I'd come from Continentals and Lycomings, and I was a bit, suspicious about it, but after owning them for, I think, 4 years now, I'm very
The
happy
modern ones
with
are
them.
excellent. Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flaps down, Mark.
Okay, so there's 17.5 takeoff, 35 full flaps.
That's correct.
Just a single little lever like a lot of other planes. Very effective.
Yeah, just like a Johnson bar, that kind of.
Only operable from the front.
Yeah, that's the tricky bit. I guess you could really lean forward and try and operate them,
But you should solo from the front.
Yeah.
Because that's where the coffee cup holder is too.
Yeah, that's an aftermarket modification. So.
Okay, so inside, it looks Cub-like. Tell me about it. Is it adjustable seats or?
Yeah, so the seats are pretty much fixed. I think you can make a small adjustment, but not while you're in flight or anything like that. The seats are fixed. You solo this in the front, so different from a J3. It's more Super Cub-like. You fly it from the front. It's got an electrical system. Right now, it's got more of the old traditional panel, so it's very basic. But a lot of the guys upgrade it and put EFIS systems in, and that's probably something I'll do in the future. It's got 17 degrees of flaps and 35 degrees of flaps, which really help.
Is that takeoff and landing, basically?
Yeah. And I've measured my stall speed about 24, 25 miles an hour with full flaps. It has VGs on it, so it really flies slowly, and you can really, really get it down.
Do you wheel it, 3-point it?
Both, yeah. Both. Typically, if I'm landing on grass or backcountry strip, I'll 3-point it, and then we'll land it.
Because these are pretty grippy.
Yeah.
They'll sort of chirp it, won't they? And try and push the nose up.
Yeah. So, it's got standard brakes. It's got full controls in the rear, so it's good for instructing. It's got a baggage compartment or a bag that you can put 50 pounds of baggage in. Okay. So it's pretty practical. It's a nice.
So if somebody wanted to buy one of these today, I mean, this is a 2000.
This is a 2006. I've got.
And it's got how many hours?
This one's got 280 hours.
If it was for sale today, what would it be worth?
I personally think, or I would want probably about 70 to 80,000.
Okay.
Probably.
So it's half the price of Super Cub.
Yeah, definitely. And it flies just as well as the Super Cub. It doesn't have necessarily the high altitude performance because it's only got 100 horsepower. If I were to do something like an Edge kit and put a turbo on it, then obviously I'd get that power back if I was flying at high altitude. But down here in California, it's nice, and especially Europe, those kind of places where you're at sea level, it's a good performer.
Well, should we take her out for a spin?
Yeah, love to.
Well, not a spin, but let's take her out for a flight.
Well, yeah. You wait till you see my flying.
Okay. So this is Mark at Skywagon University. Nigel, thanks very much for bringing this plane in. Very interesting. A Zlin Savage Cub.
Yep.
Mind your eye on there. You could have your eye out on that thing. So just like on the Unicorn, remember? Oh, big tires. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to subscribe, there's a little button and bell down here. You can subscribe on there. If you press the bell, you get notifications when you get other videos. We're going to try and do as many as we can. There are sometimes gaps, we get busy, but we're going to try and do one a week if we can. But Nigel, thanks for bringing it in.
Thank you. And Mark has sold 3 of my airplanes, I think. So I highly recommend Mark.
Bit of free PR, thanks.
Yeah, so thank you, Mark.